Welcome to the Book Asylum. Tonight's guest is Allen Gamboa, the man that likes to play with white balls on the weekend.
Why only on the weekend?
I actually forgot to say little white balls on the weekend.
Oh, that's so descriptive.
Does it really matter?
I don't think it does.
Like
I think
wrinkly sacks, I guess. It just doesn't matter what size they are.
White balls, clubs, and leather sacks. Ooh, good time.
Sounds like a good bar name, club name.
You're right.
Welcome to the show, everybody. We're fucking around as always. Allen, thank you so much for being on the show. Look forward all week to torturing you.
Yes.
I'm wearing my nipple clips, so I'm ready. I'm ready for the torture.
Oh, damn.
I've been looking forward all week too.
Yeah.
Damn, I got outdone. I'm gonna step up my game.
You're slacking there, big guy.
Note to self: nipple clips on the next show.
No, I've been really looking forward to coming on the show. So thanks for having me on.
It's taken us forever to get you. I don't even know why. It's like I'm always, whenever I'm looking at the list, I'm always like, "Where's Gamboa? Okay, let's call him up here."
Yeah, well, since I'm such a big celebrity, it's hard to catch me.
It is.
Oh my God.
I've tried to figure out what I was doing when you asked me. I think I was taking a nap.
I can't remember, but I know it took us a few times of back and forth, and then we had you scheduled for like 3 months in advance. You're like, dude, I'm never gonna remember this, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll remind you.
Yeah, I'm glad you did.
Yeah. Well, and then
I'm pretty easy.
And then we changed up the format. So we were like, hey, you want to come on Wednesday? You're like, yeah, sure.
I'm pretty easy to clear my schedule. I just go over the chalkboard and there's nothing on it. So yeah, my schedule's clear still. So yeah.
You could have at least played it up a little, going, not Tuesday. You know how that goes.
I got a Walden's book showing on that Wednesday.
Walden's? Are they still around?
I don't think they are.
I don't think they are too. Weren't they?
I haven't seen a Walden's.
Thackeray's, and then that's when they changed to Borders, and now they're gone. I don't know, but
I've seen a Borders still.
Have you?
I think we have one here in Santa. Yeah, I think there's still a Borders.
We do not have any in Tucson. We did not have any back in Ohio either, in Toledo. So I don't know.
Yeah,
dying breed.
I forgot. Yeah, it is. We've got one huge one here. I forgot what. It's that big bookstore that's around still. It's got a coffee shop in it.
Barnes and Noble.
Yes, Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, that's probably
they're everywhere. I worked at a Books A Million. I loved working at Books A Million, but Books A Million like stops in Texas or Utah. I can't remember. They're not even out this far. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I really liked Books A Million though, just because I was biased.
When I was living in Crescent City, we didn't have any bookstores. Eureka, which is a college town, Humboldt State's there. In the mall there, they had like it was like Walden's Books or whatever, and then it went out of business. So here you have a college town that has no major bookstore. It's got a couple mom and pop bookstores, but the major one's gone. I mean,
yeah,
so much for education, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
doesn't seem right.
It doesn't seem right. It's sad when you see bookstores close. I mean, right now, I don't see how people make large amount of money on books anymore. There's just
Well, the bookstore you planned when you went to a bookstore, especially if you went to like Barnes and Noble, where you knew I'm going to go have a cup of coffee, and then from there, after I finish my coffee, and then it's like over to the magazine rack. Got to get my issue of Fangoria. Got to get my issue of Gorehound. I got all my magazines, and then I'd go hunting for books.
In their 2 stories of books.
Mine we were lower class, so we had one floor.
Oh,
but it was a big floor.
You got the broke store.
We got the outlet.
Well, when I was a teenager, we had I was living in Sacramento. We had Tower Records and Tower Books, and they're both right next door to each other. So you'd go in, spend an hour or two in Tower Records, going through all the albums and stuff,
Yeah.
cassettes, and then you go next door to Tower Books, and they just had tons of paperbacks, and you grab, you go look at the magazines, paperbacks, and I like you, I'd grab Fangoria. Gorehound
Mhm.
came later on, and uh, there's a couple other ones. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's
there were-
just sad. It's sad
Yeah.
it
because
is.
I don't know.
Same with the comic book stores. I'd
Oh
go
yeah,
get all my zombie comics there
yeah.
every
We have a
week.
couple here.
We have a couple here, but it used to be they were everywhere.
My
Yeah,
husband gets his comic books from like some site. I don't know. And they're not hentai.
Well, he's not trying very hard, is he?
yeah,
No, he gets like his Batman and stuff like that on from a site. Everything is now electronic.
yeah.
So
That is so weird to get a comic book in your Kindle. That is
mm,
so. I've done that a couple times.
Me
It's like,
too. And it's
don't
not
do that.
quite the same, is it?
it's not the same.
No.
What's the point?
No,
Yeah.
as a matter of fact, you're gonna hate this story. I had huge horror magazine collections. I mean, I still have my Fangorias. I got like the first 300, I think. But when I realized that things were going to start going digital, and I realized that I could do them myself,
Oh no.
I took a whole. Have you ever seen Draculina?
No.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. I had all of them up to that point, and it must have been 20 some. And I took them down, and I got the spine snipped so that I could run them through my high speed scanner, and I digitalized them. Now I still have these books digitally, and they're great. But now I'm sitting here going, "What the fuck was I thinking?" I did that with a UK horror magazine too. I still have them, but now it's like I have to have them put into a new type of binder. And I realized I'm missing one issue, and I can't find it anywhere on the internet. And I'm like
fucked
thinking
up.
I done fucked up because I did it with several things and some of the comic books.
Well, you
So
want to hear something? You want to hear something that'll make you go, "Yeah, you really screwed up." Um,
yes.
when I was in junior high, Star Wars came out like in '77. I was in junior high. Okay, so I'm dating myself here, and I used to write little stories and stuff, right? And so I had Star Wars #1 comic book, and I was like, "Oh, this would make a good cover if I cut out these pages and stuff, some of the characters, stuff, put it on the cover of the
Oh,
book I'm writing, of the little, line ruler page book I'm writing." So I did that. Star Wars #1 comic, first
you
edition,
would be retired and living filthy if you had not
right?
done that.
What
And
a
your parents
kid
didn't
kid.
whoop your ass?
Oh, they didn't. They didn't know anything about comic books, or you know what I mean. They didn't care about that stuff.
Oh, okay. All right.
Um,
Well,
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean,
yeah.
yeah,
and then
I don't.
again, back then,
yeah,
who
they were
would have ever
Who
thought
knew?
that much money could be gained?
right. I did that. I did that with a few comic books that would be worth a little bit. I mean, that Star Wars one was gold mine, but like Battlestar Galactica, they had a comic series out. I used that because I was writing a bunch of stupid space stories and stuff, as a kid. Yeah,
I
but
am so outing you with Tufo next time I talk to him.
Oh,
You want to know what Gamboa did to Star Wars #1?
I killed a lot of comic books back there trying to make my own books, which I'd go and
Right.
show my parents my story, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's a good story." I mean, my parents are really were really big fans of mine, which was cool as my books got published, which I hoped they would be in, but they're really big fans, especially my dad. My dad, I had Sean Salzman narrating the first of my books, the Dead Island series,
Mhm.
and I felt sorry for Sean because he had to do an Australian, Texan, Russian. He had to do like 5 different accents for all these characters, right? He pulled it off though. He did
He's
he did a
good.
really good job.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the second book came along, and my dad was in the hospital, he had cancer, so he was in a hospital, and he couldn't read anymore. His eyesight wasn't good, and so it sat with him for a while. And he was busy. He had a lot of stuff to do. Sean had a lot of stuff to do, and so I had to finally tell Sean. I said, "Hey, Sean, I need to, I know you're busy. I'm going to have to pull the book and have someone else do it because I want to get it done before my dad passes, so he can hear the second book." You know, and he was like, "I understand. That's fine," because he did a real good book. I would have loved him to do the other two books, but so I had to get them done. I had to get them done right away. So and Andy Werlin, I asked him to do it, and he did it. He did both books pretty fast, and he did a pretty good job. He did. I mean, he did a real good job. And so my dad was able to listen to him, before he passed. So he was able to get all my books in, and he was like my biggest fan. And then when he passed, I didn't write for like 2 years. Took me about 2 years to get back into it because he
Yeah,
was
I would
like,
imagine.
yeah, he was like my inspiration especially as a kid. He always read books to me, and I like his John Carter of Mars and Tarzan books were the first books I read as a kid. So he made a
I
big
read
impact.
Tarzan books too.
Yeah,
Those are great.
those were great, and especially at that age of junior high, and
Mm.
it really influenced you. So, but yeah, I'm. It's hard, like Salzman. That dude just killed it on the first book because I write about at least 3 or 4 different accents in my book. I always like putting like the bad guys as being some, Australian or Russian and I got some heat. I got a heat from actually a Russian person for my first book for making the bad guys Russian. It wasn't
Funny.
anything, I wasn't being a racist or anything. It just was, you know, a mercenary group against another mercenary group of American and
It's
Australian.
logic.
Yeah,
It's logic.
I had fun with it, and they were really bad guys. They were, some of them were like stereotypes and stuff, but they were really, and those are fun though. Those are fun to write.
Yeah.
You know it. You can, you two know it. You're right. But I wrote this one book in a series, Five Roads to Texas, with W.J. Lundy, Rich Baker, Brian Parker, Joe Hansen, and J.L. Bourne. And the bad guys in there are North Koreans, right? So in my book, I wrote, they did a lot of slurs toward the North Koreans and stuff, just as soldiers would do,
Mhm.
because it's they were calling them names. And I got hate on that one too. Hey, why all the Asian slurs? It's like, no, it's not really. It's, if you're
this is
fighting against,
Yeah.
yeah. And if you're fighting against
It's not
an
real.
enemy,
Back off.
Yeah.
right?
And well, not only
I'm
that,
gonna
but
get
it's
heat
like
for that.
in in real life during war, you're when we were over in the Middle East, what were they called? Hajis?
Hmm.
Yeah, right. So
Okay,
I mean,
it happens.
yeah,
That's how human nature is. We pick on the easiest
exactly.
thing that we can pick on, and not. I'm not trying to say that calling people names is good. I'm just saying it's in a book, for Christ's sake.
Yeah,
Settle the fuck
it's
down.
it's the it's the characters at the moment, what's going on with
Yes.
them, and they even had like one of the main kind of bad guys. He would call them all kinds of different Asian names, like Bruce Lee and stuff like, because just showing how kind of ignorant and uncaring he is,
Yeah.
and they apparently didn't pick up on that, but it's just funny when you get something like that in a review, it's like, man, it's not really okay, whatever, thanks for reading it at least.
Well,
Right.
I mean, it just shows the different. I understand that everybody's different and people are different, but you know what?
Mhm.
If you're gonna let a fictional book ruffle your feathers or get your panties in a bunch, then you probably need to be in a plastic bubble. Don't walk out.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And it's like you want to. It's like sometimes you wish you could reply to some of the
mhm.
people that leave some reviews, but I mean, I guess it's a good thing you don't,
Yeah.
but sometimes
So
you're
I've
like,
been told.
yeah,
Always better to just stay silent. That way
yeah.
the fire doesn't get bigger.
That is so hard. That is so hard.
I
It's
had a
very hard.
It is. It is. I had a couple reviews on Goodreads that were just seemed a little bit too personal. So
Mhm.
what I did is I wrote back on that reply part. I wrote, well, thank you for, at least reading and reviewing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, with
Oh,
kindness, right?
man.
At least they did
Hopefully they
that.
feel like an asshole. I hope that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope that made him feel like an asshole. Oh my God, he thanked me for reviewing it.
No, they
Yeah,
probably was like,
yeah,
he
so
responded and went out and got book 2.
yeah, right. I'm one of these people. I don't know if you do it, but I like to read my reviews. I know there's a lot of writers that don't. They don't pay attention to the reviews, but I like to know what people think of it, what I'm doing. If I should continue or
Mhm.
some of it I take as constructive criticism. If it's not something that's like just I've had a couple stupid books, stupid characters. That doesn't do me any good.
That doesn't help.
No, be a
Yeah,
little more definitive, and
yeah.
you're getting
What's
constructive
stupid?
feedback is what it is.
Do you not like the paper that it was printed on? What's stupid about the book? Do you what's wrong with the
Exactly.
characters? Give some
Exactly.
feedback, constructive. But I'm a weirdo. I don't even worry about anything that happens on release day.
Oh yeah.
I don't pay attention. I'm busy. And
Well,
I'm not because I appreciate everybody who purchases and or reads my books on Kindle Unlimited. I really appreciate that. I do want to hear what they have to say. Every once in a while I'll remember to go look at the reviews, but a lot of times I don't, and it's not because I don't care, it's just because I got 8 million other things that I'm doing. But also, I didn't write the book for anybody but me.
yeah.
And I'm
Yeah,
not being a pretentious piece of shit. I'm just saying I literally did not write the book for anybody but me because I wanted to do it before I died, and I did, and I accomplished my goal, and that was it.
that's it. Well, if you're writing for other people, then your writing is not true.
Right.
You're writing,
Right.
some mishmash.
Mhm.
Mine's always like Dead Island is to me, it's my take on Predator. It's like I could write Predator, but I could write it my way, like
Right.
that. It's a team going in to a situation they can't control, and then you can, and I love the character. I love making characters up. I don't know if do you ever watch Justified
No.
with Jimmy
Yes, I
Kimmel?
have watched a couple episodes, not the whole season.
Mm-mm.
Their bad guys on there are so great. The characters. That's why I watch that show. Is because it's just the character. The characters are gonna be great on it. So I like to try to make some of the characters fun, especially the bad guys. I want you to hate them, definitely. And then when they get, and I like to kill off my bad guys too. In ways that they deserve.
Right.
So that's always fun.
Yes.
You might see a guy like I've got this guy Nico. He's Russian in there, and he's a horrible person. Horrible person. Well, he gets killed pretty good, but I had fun killing him off, and I think people when they read it, they appreciated the way I killed him off. But yeah, that stuff's fun. It's just, and I put people that I used to work with as that were assholes as some of the bad guys,
We
and that's
always do
always
that.
fun to do.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is
it's
because
always
that's what
fun
I
to
did
do.
with mine.
Yeah.
I'm like,
And
oh yeah, I hate you.
I get to jump in on this. This whole story I've been working on started because a coworker pissed me off so much that I stopped doing my job. I brought up a Word document. And I was like just going to town.
Pounding away on the keys.
I got home and I've got all 10 pages written, and I'm just like, I got to keep going. I have to kill him now,
all because he
That's
pissed
great.
you off.
Yeah. That's what
happens.
started that spark.
It happens.
And in every revision since then, I've killed him in a different way. It's not even intentional. I'll go back and I'll start at the beginning, and I'm like, okay, because his character gets it in the beginning, and I'm like, that's not brutal enough. I start typing away. It's like, how you like that, motherfucker? And of course, if he ever read the book, he wouldn't even know it was him. But I know it's him.
See, I use their names.
I do.
Do you?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I do.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the way to do
Okay,
it.
next note, revision 12, use his name.
Because to me it feels a little more real, but also if you're one of those that I'm not a fan of, and you pick up my book and you read your name in there, you're never gonna forget me, and I'm gonna live rent free in your head.
Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure the way that I killed you is really fucked up.
That's gonna be there forever, or at
Yes.
least until it's gone.
Yep.
But yeah, because see, I used to work corrections for 24 years. I retired out of corrections.
Ugh.
So I've got some of my friends that have read my book, and they know, because I use a name, they know the person the people I'm talking about, so I'm sure some of them said, hey, Gamboa wrote about you, man, so I'm sure some of them know that how I felt about him, it really came out. But
yeah, who cares?
It's funny.
I think it's fun. I think it's fun. It's like,
Yeah.
now.
Well, and the best thing about it, I mean, for me, it's if you're in my book, I don't have a problem telling you to your face that I fucking can't stand you.
Yeah.
It's all, it's not a big deal. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I've read what you do. The people you hate, Jen.
Yeah. Well, it's either that or I put them in a jar. and that's not and then the next step is a doll, and either way it just gets worse from there, and I try to keep my karma at a minimum.
Just put me in a book.
Yeah if I tell you your book, that's the safest way. so what have you been doing recently?
Yeah,
have you been writing or?
Yeah, I've been. There's a Lee Edwards has this anthology. It's a charity. I forgot what charity it's from. And my wife asked me, and I couldn't remember.
I think it's for his daughter.
Is it for his daughter?
There's a charity that he works with where they research whatever his daughter ails from, whatever she has. I think that's the charity that he's doing for the anthology.
Good, because he asked, and I said, yeah, no problem. I don't mind. I don't mind writing for charities, and so it's a pre-World War I zombie theme, and I know I think Rich Restucci's got a story going in there, and I know Scott Baker does.
Good.
So he's doing a Civil War one. I'm doing a Civil War one, but they're both different. So that's what I'm working on right now. Then we had this big anthology for Weird Realities that's kind of been on hold, and I finished that one up. I got that short story done. But I'm trying to finish the last book in the Operation Zulu series. I keep getting into it, writing it, and it's the last time I'm probably going to write in that world. So it's like I want to get it really, really, really good.
Yeah.
And I don't want to just rush it off. I have the ending already. It's like I'm not gonna say it's like when they made the Thing prequel where the ending backs up to the beginning. That's how this story does. The ending backs up to the beginning, because when I wrote Operation Zulu Dead Island, it was a standalone. And then I was talking to W.J. Lundy, and he says, series is where you get the readers, so make a series. So then I wrote the other two books, Dose and Ravenous, and this next one. So it was written backwards. So I painted myself into the corner because I killed off the main character. So I had to go walk it back to where Dose is a prequel, Ravenous is a prequel, and then the last story will be a prequel. It sounds weird, but it works. But I had to really, oh crap, how am I going to do this? So never paint yourself into a corner. like that. Never.
Well,
It's,
that was a question I was going to bring up, and I hate to admit it that I don't remember a whole lot, but I read your first book, and I was just and when I was looking your books up earlier, I'm like, he's got two more. I thought he killed everybody, and I was
no,
going to bring it up, and you already answered the question for me.
yeah,
He's smarter than me.
That's
no,
not
it
hard.
was no, it was pure accident, and so it's like, oh, okay, I got to figure out how to rewrite, how to do this with that central character that I killed off, because the first book actually has a good ending. They ride off into the sunset with money. Because I hate stories
Who doesn't
where,
like money?
yeah, well, I hate like going all the way back to the Brady Bunch, where Bobby wins something, but he's got to give it back because that's the right thing to do, or if the family wins a sweepstake or something, but they can't keep it. I hate that bullshit.
Right.
People want to keep shit they win, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So in this one, I made them be able to keep a big amount of money, and leave all happy with it, even though most of the characters are dead.
Yeah,
But
you did a job on
I
him.
wanted, yeah. So then it was like, oh crap. And like Dos is kind of a Western because it's set in Mexico, and you see the beginnings of the characters that were in it. And then Ravenous moves on to where things have gone more shitty with the zombie apocalypse. Things are worse, with this. It's basically deals with uh well, they're not really they're private contractors. They work for strategic securities, and they're working their way through this apocalypse, this group of funky characters. And there's a main antagonist, Mr. Black, who is a serial killer, but he's a multi-millionaire, and he wants the virus to be able to control things, and that's his big thing. And he's been trying to get a hold of the antivirus that they have, and strategic security's been trying to keep it safe. So it's kind of it's a chase. They're actually the series is a big chase series. It's a chase from the beginning to the end. So it's a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun if you're looking for just action, mayhem, a little bit of feelings, because I do kill off some of the characters, especially the first book. So
Well,
that one I
I even felt some frustration because trying to keep that safe, there was always this back and forth, and there was parts where I was just like, "Motherfucker, they lost it again." Okay, next page, like fucking Gamboa. It is a good book, guys. I did enjoy reading it. I really did.
no, thank you.
Now I got to get
Thank
out the other two now, so I will
You
pick those up
do.
this
You got to get
weekend.
the other two. Well, Dose is really crazy because it takes place at a drug lord's compound, and the main characters are in this group that are going to capture or kill the drug lord because he was responsible for a murder of a prominent politician's daughter. So they're going into Mexico to get him. There's some low-level hoodlums that are on their way to hide out in the Mexican drug lord's hideout, or his big casa. And there's also uh, some stuff going on inside the casa where the virus starts there, starts inside this big compound. And it's just a bunch. There's a Andrew Dice Clay impersonators in this one. There's a lot of weird. There's a guy that collects Barbies. There's a whole lot of weird shit in this one.
Oh my God, you got to put someone in a diaper, an adult baby.
That is one
That's all
crazy
you're
drug lord
missing.
house.
Hey, it's a fetish house. It's a fetish house.
But
I
that
mean,
one
Okay, so that one's
was the
Dose.
longest
I'll get
book.
that next.
Yeah, that's the longest one because there's a lot involved. And Ravenous is a shorter book because it's more of a chase story, across the apocalyptic landscape. So it's pretty fun. I've got this English company that I've written a couple books for, Zombie Island and Hunt the Night. Zombie Island is a throwback to just a pure 80s type of zombie movie. takes place on this island during a music fest. But the beginning, it starts out in 1800, in the 1800s, where this virus happens, and then it's rediscovered at this music festival on Cockatoo Island off of Australia. And that was a fun one because there's some really gross stuff, like a guy digging into a zombie's eye socket to get to his brain to kill him. You know, it's just got a lot of that kind of stuff. That one's really fun, but I wrote that one for Silent Studios, and then they asked me to do another one called Hunt the Night, which is about mutants, mutant invasion, and that one I really had a lot of fun with. And they've got a third book they want me to write, but I don't know if I'm going to do it for them because it's really big and epic, and I got some stuff to write, you know. So I don't know.
I was I'm glad you brought up Hunt the Night. I've got it up here on my iPad right now, and I was reading the description of it. And it sounds, I mean, it goes from a probe hitting Earth to the virus that's going to spread out there. And then my favorite line was a former pit fighter turned mutant bounty hunter named Akachi.
Yeah, they originally, her name was, they wanted her because they'll give me, okay, this is the characters, they'll give me an outline of what they want. This one was kind of like going to be like another zombie type of book, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I told Jason Wright, who's the head of Silent Studios, I said, I want to write this my way, because he's funny. He likes to throw in a lot of, he likes to have lesbians in all his books. And this one had
Who doesn't?
This one had high school cheerleaders in there. Okay. So I'm like, okay, you got to let me write this my way. The lesbian part was really small, but the cheerleaders are going to be adult pro football cheerleaders, not going to be teenage girls. I just did not feel right.
I can understand this 100%.
I think I was 58 at that time, 59. I'm like,
the last thing I want is for somebody to think I'm a perv.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. But the main character's name was Akrachi, not Akachi, right? And so you guys know, I think you guys
Earth gets probed. Her name is Akuchi or whatever.
Akrachi, right? And
Akrachi, Akuchi, or whatever.
So I'm talking to Yolanda Butler, and I run it by her, and she's like, Akrachi, that sounds like crotch. And I'm like, you're right. So I had to go back to Jason and say, hey, it sounds like I got some feedback that sounds like a crotch. You don't want to do that. How about I just get rid of the R and it's Akachi? And he's like, oh, okay. But it means hand of God or something like that. And I said, well, we can lie. We can lie. It's our story. We can lie, He's like,
you need to lie.
Yeah.
Unless you want to sound like a B-rated horror flick, you need to lie.
Right.
I read that name, and first thing that hit me is like, I'm pretty sure that's what it sounds like when you cough, fart, and piss at the same time.
It could have been worse.
Could have been. By the way, while I'm doing it, note number 3, lesbians, cheerleaders. My book is right against self tonight, guys.
Oh my God.
Glad I could help.
Yeah, I'm so glad you did. I've noticed you have several anthologies that you've contributed to. So do you like doing the shorter stories versus the long books?
That's weird, because I'm always jealous of songwriters because they could put a song down, a story down in 3 minutes.
I know.
It's like incredible, and so it took me a year to write a 3-minute song. But it depends. It depends on the story, because sometimes you'll write and you'll think, man, this could be a novel, a novella, because it's 10,000 words or whatever, just to get to the meat of it. It just depends,
right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I have a story I can end right away. Guy stepped out the door, zombie hit him. Something
Done.
like that,
Something to be said about short and sweet.
Yeah, I had one where the guy was in this house, and it's kind of a scary house, and it's at the end of the world, and he hears a knock at the door, and that's how I end it. I thought that was the most easiest way.
God, that would be frustrating. As a reader,
Yeah.
I'd be all like, "What?
Yeah.
How do
Missing
you
a
come up
page."
with how do you come up with like some of the most dubious or most disgusting kills that you've ever done in your books? How do you I mean, like, do you ever look at it and go, that might have been too far?
Yeah,
I have a scene where I'm
yeah,
like, I might have crossed the line.
yeah, yeah. There's some that's like in the first book where I have this. Well, I'll tell you the scene. There's this guy. He's just he's horrible person, and there's a zombie comes up and he recognizes the zombie as one of his compatriots, and she's this big, muscle-bound Russian, mercenary, and her clothes are all ripped and stuff, and he's a junkie too, so he's getting high, he's snorting. He's got like Percocets, and he drops them, and he goes to pick them up, and she crushes his hand. I'm trying to remember how she crushes his hand. If she steps on it, whatever, with a boot. Anyway, so there's bone and shit in his hand, and he's snorting this, right? Still snorting it because he's just this fucked up
He's
of
a
an
junkie.
individual, right?
Yeah.
He's
Can't hold a good
fucked up
dedicated
individual.
junkie back."
Yeah, he just horrible. And he's rapist, and sorry, he's a SA person. I don't know if I've seen YouTube where you gotta be careful, I guess, where you say. Anyway, and so he's kind of turned on too by this zombie, right? Well, she grabs him by his crotch, rips it off, throws it away. Another zombie comes by and eats it. And then
That's a great ending for a
oh yeah, I
perpetrator.
make him he's just a really horrible person, and I thought that'd be a good ending for him. And I thought I might have gone too far with that, but I didn't get any bad feedback on that. If anything, I got some positive on
Yeah,
that.
I think anybody who's had to ever deal with, whether it's because I was a CEO too for years, and I would love to rip their junk off and shove it down their throat. Just because you're a disgusting human being if you do stuff like that. So of course, I think you're gonna get rave reviews for that ending.
Well, I like to make despicable people get theirs, so everybody can feel like, because everybody has that in their life, you wish this would happen if, something like that. And to me, that's kind of fun. Karma, I guess.
It's justice.
It is.
There we go. Justice. But
note to self: never go to Jen's prison.
Well, when I first started,
I don't work there anymore.
Well, when I first started, Jen, this is one thing that we really had a problem with is we'd have inmates that would stand there and pleasure themselves in front of female COs, right? Mm-hmm. And there's not much they would do about it at that time. This is back in '89, and
they still don't.
Well, in California, they'll get more time for that and stuff, and they'll put them in like the shoe and stuff like that. But yeah, it took them years. Yeah. I think it was mid-90s.
Well, it needs to keep going. It needs to keep going east because Ohio doesn't do shit. So
yeah. Well, it took a while. Garbage. It took to the mid-90s. We would do is we put paper up in their windows and stuff so they couldn't. Then that was inhumane, covering their windows.
You can't, if they might hang themselves and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. You know what? Sounds like a them problem, not a me problem. Yeah. But, we were told it was part of the job. And I was like, no. Yeah. I didn't sign up for this because I'm sure, don't get jacked off on. I don't want to. So why is it this is part of the job for me? But if somebody does anything to you, then it's assault on an officer. But for me, it's you're just gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah, no, that's the way it was. That's the way it was.
That's the way it still is. Yeah.
And believe it or not, this is California.
Which is shocking.
Which is shocking. But yeah, it's assault, and then they move them to the shoe or ad seg for a while or whatever. But they're gonna come back and do it. Because they're just pieces of shit. It's just crazy. I had an inmate one time write me up and allege that I stood in front of his cell doing that.
That you did? That's
Yeah.
funny. I had one that I had a guy, I wrote him up and he said that I actually stood there and watched and I was like, we're on video, stupid. They see me walking by, knocking my flashlight on the window, telling you to put your tiny Peter away and walking away. They don't see me standing there staring.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
It is
But
ridiculous. It's-
they're anything to get out of trouble.
yeah. Yeah.
So that's sadly it's getting worse. I'm glad I'm out.
I'm glad. Yeah, I am too.
It's a hard job. I
It's
don't.
crazy.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have been in a while ago. I didn't get in until I was like 36. I would have liked to have been in a lot earlier in my
Yeah.
life so that I could have, because by the time I did quit, I was nowhere near time to retire for me. I quit because I moved out to Arizona. But I would have loved to have been able to retire from there because I think way back when I would have been able to first start was very different. It's very hug a thug now, where back in the day it was not that way.
Oh
And
yeah,
people
it
actually
is.
it was considered punishment to go to jail or to go to prison. And now it's like, oh, well, we can't keep them from watching TV, so we'll give them clear flat screen TVs. We can't keep them from having the luxuries that they would normally have outside. So let's give them a tablet. We'll just make sure it's clear so that we can see all the working parts in there. They're still able to, do watch videos like music videos, which cracks me up because it's so loud. And they're able to do a lot of the same stuff that you and I can do when the whole point of jail is punishment.
Oh,
But
yeah.
whatever.
Right.
I digress.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
not see the show going that direction.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm off my
No,
soapbox.
good for you guys.
But
Don't worry, I'm not sleeping tonight.
yeah, I'm glad we're not there to keep the nightmares at bay. So,
Yeah.
but
No,
it's
this
just
is a lot more fun.
yeah, it's changed over time, and I like the experience that I have doing that got me the job that I currently have now, which is a transportation officer. So I literally am a high paid Uber, and I don't mind it. And I get paid well, and I get, my days off, and I go home, and it's literally, I'm not fighting people. I love it. I
Yeah.
don't regret it.
Yeah. Good.
So,
No, it's
yeah.
I came in when I was 25 and yeah, it was a whole different world than it is now.
Mhm.
You know,
Yep.
I turned 50, I was out because in California at 50 you could retire,
Yeah.
so I had 24 years and I was done. So, and I was
Yeah.
glad.
Hell
I
yeah.
think I've lived a lot longer than I would have if I would have stayed in.
Yeah, for sure. I can't tell you how many old timers who've had, 30, 35 years, and they are literally dying in the chair,
Yeah.
that they're sitting in. And the second that they retire, within a year, they're dead for real.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like the job ruins you. And it could be the easiest cakewalk prison, camp cupcake. You could have all model inmates, if there is such a thing as a model inmate. You could have all model inmates, and it'll still kill you a lot sooner than if you did not take the job. But nobody
yeah.
else will do it. So,
Yeah.
some it's not for everybody. Anyways,
It's a nice
I'm
place to be.
sorry. Yeah.
That's all right. It's a nice place to be from, but not to stay. Definitely.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Where do we go now?
I don't know now that
Let's go
I've
up.
killed the vibe.
Go up.
Congratulations. You have me speechless. I'm like, I don't know what to do next. Fucking prison shit's got me freaked out.
Oh, let's talk about watching Weird for a minute. We'll go
Yes.
up from
Okay. Yeah.
there. 7. Okay, to answer your question, Dan, it's 7 p.m. on Thursdays Pacific time, 10 Eastern. So
I would write that down, but the page is full of lesbian and cheerleader shit right now.
Jesus.
And
It's a good
we have a lot
show,
of fun with
Jen.
her.
You
I
should
Yeah,
watch
I
think
know.
with Scott,
I've watched it every once in a while. I catch it.
we have a lot of fun. You know, we go
Yeah.
off on, like you guys, we go off on our rabbit holes.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to do, especially with talking movies. You know, everybody's,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
you know, and we have on Thanksgiving, that week of Thanksgiving, we have a turkey show where we get pick the worst movie, and Scott Baker is really good at picking horrible
The
movies.
worst movie.
He is, and he loves them. He loves those bad movies.
Which one did he I caught part of that show. What did he pick this time? Was it the what the hell's the name of that? Thanksgiving with the killer turkey puppet?
Yeah.
What?
Those are so bad. There's like 4 of them out now, I think.
Oh
It's
God.
horrible. It is as bad as it sounds, Ian. It's
It's worse
I
than
thought
it
Killer
sounds.
Clowns was bad.
Killer Clowns is
it makes Killer
awesome.
Clowns look like Academy Award winner. Yeah,
yeah.
it does. It does.
I hate
Yeah.
that
And then
movie. I hate
Turkey
it.
Revenge, but the turkey's a puppet and it's a really bad puppet too.
What is
Yeah,
it? What's the movie again?
I think it's Thanksgiving.
I'm writing that shit down because I want to.
See?
I want to at least watch 5 minutes.
She always says I don't like stupid movies. Now she's making a list.
Yeah.
You guys gave me a list. I'm still working on that piece of shit list from years ago.
Well, you got another one. It's Cocaine Crabs from Outer Space. That's
Oh god, I
horrible.
did watch that show.
Did you
Oh,
guys
the
do
replay.
Cocaine Bear?
it was it's like there's a cocaine shark, which is horrible.
Yeah,
Cocaine Crabs from Outer Space.
that sounds itchy.
Well, the Cocaine Bear movie is classic compared to those movies. I mean, it at least has people that know how to act.
Does it?
The crabs were so terrible.
Was it like Sharknado?
It's worse than Sharknado.
Sharknado was
Yeah,
bad.
I
Ian
was-
Ziering should be. What's his name? Was that your Ian Ziering?
Yeah,
He used
Ian
to
Ziering,
be on
yeah.
90210. Shame on him. Shame on him. You were one of the studs in 90210, and this is what you amounted to was Sharknado. However many, what is it now? 10? Shame on you, Ian, if you're ever watching this.
He needed the
I
money.
used to love you back
He's
in the
sitting there
90s.
with that wad of cash going, I got you, Jen.
Mhm,
You know, just
yeah.
counting that money.
Yeah. He probably is because
That's
I know
funny.
a lot of people love it, but I fucking hate
I'm
it.
not one.
Mm.
I liked
I-
the first one because it was, it's
New.
stupid, and then the other ones just got worse. It's like, and everybody wanted to be in it. Just
I was gonna say, how do you set the bar even worse at stupid?
right.
How does that work? How
It got
could
really
you?
crazy. I mean, I'd watch parts of them, and it just got like really, really far fetched crazy.
Oh,
I don't like them at all. But
They did have a tie-in with Zombie Nation on one of them because they had like some of the characters from the Zombie Nation series on there, and there was a zombie tornado.
Oh, Jesus.
And they just-
really,
Yeah, they just mentioned it briefly. It's like maybe a 4-minute scene or something like that. And it's got a couple of main characters, and they're it's a zombie tornado or something. And
Oh my god.
but it's the same people that make it. The Asylum.
yeah,
Yeah.
Asylum.
Make all
They
those.
also put out, I think it was Zombie Tsunami or something like that.
Yeah. Oh,
That
that was
was
horrible.
so terrible.
And that was it with Ian Ziering too.
Yeah,
I believe
Of
he was
course
the
it
main guy.
was.
Yeah, and it was horrible.
it
There's nothing good about it. Nothing good about it.
Well, and that's like you can always tell. I don't know. Would that be the same agent that is responsible for that, or is it just because, like, I know that on Supernatural, a lot of the people that were on Supernatural, I also saw in Stargate, the TV show, SG1, and
Right.
what was it, Destination or whatever the heck it was called, Destiny, and Atlantis and stuff. But a lot of those people were on. Like Amanda Tapping she
Yeah.
played in Supernatural. I saw a lot of the same people, and I was like, oh my god, I recognize that guy. I recognize Hammond in there. I recognize, and so I'm like, is that the same Is that the same agent?
It'd be like the same casting director,
Maybe.
like,
Probably,
you know,
you
I
know,
didn't even think about
or-
that because, I mean, I thought the casting director would like find different people.
yeah. Or
it-
it could be a producer or, one of the producers on there might, I like,
Like,
I
I
worked with
worked with these
so-and-so on
people.
Stargate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Okay.
probably more like they were willing to be in that shitty movie. Let's see if they'll be in this shitty movie. And when you're an actor, you just want to work.
And I'm
Yeah.
sure Ian's probably hurting now that he's, not 90210 anymore. I'm sorry. I have a random hair that's in my face and it's driving me nuts. I apologize. But yeah,
We just thought you lost your shit. You're all like,
I mean, it's not far off. You're not far off. Yeah, I'm pulling things out of my head. And no, Ian, I used to I loved him on 90210. That was a big show. And where the hell is that Gabriella girl? Where is
Well,
she?
this might make you feel better about him, Jen. Not too long ago, I think, I don't know if he's in New York or one of those big cities, might be probably LA. But these guys came up and attacked him and his wife, and him and his daughter, I think, and he fought them off. They
Ian?
have a video of it. Yeah, he helped fight them
Well,
off. Yeah,
good. Good for
yeah.
him.
So,
I
still
am
got his
I'm
record.
glad.
those
David,
fight scenes paid off.
you know what?
Yeah,
Speaking of New York and getting assaulted, Steve Buscemi just got assaulted on the streets of New
saw
York.
that.
Did you see
Saw
that? He
that.
got punched right in the face by some big
Yeah.
dude who looks
Who's
like he
gonna do
works
that to
out every day.
Who's gonna do that to
Buscemi,
Steve Buscemi?
yeah, Buscemi's a national fucking treasure. Why are you touching
Yeah.
him like that?
Well, look at
Love
Rick
Steve.
Moranis.
Yeah,
Rick Moranis got. I mean, come on. What's with these guys that are, national treasures? It's like,
right. Why? They haven't done anything to you. I don't understand
Yeah.
it. Why? So yeah, I heard about that. My husband messaged me. He's like, "Oh my God, look at this," and sent me the article that Steve got punched right in his shit out on the street for no reason, random. And then later I ended up seeing, because it said they didn't have any suspects. Later I did see they had a suspect in custody.
very
So,
good.
yeah. So they did
Wow.
get him, if he is in fact the one. But yeah, I mean, what is with the random acts of violence? It's supposed to be
It's-
random acts of kindness, not violence.
It's because
Wrong
They
word.
misread the memo.
They got it
Yeah.
wrong. So, that's that fourth grade education level.
Yeah.
Well, how do you guys pick your movies on your show, Alan? Because they're like
Yeah.
some of the weirdest batches sometimes.
It depends. It's like somebody will say, "Hey, let's do like shit." I'm trying to think. The Beekeeper. We all watched The Beekeeper, so because we had it on a downloaded. So let's do The Beekeeper. All right, we'll do The Beekeeper, and then I forgot what else we paired it with or had it with. It's just weird. Sometimes it's on purpose. Like this weekend, this coming show is Memorial Day weekend is next weekend, so we've got war movies. Black Hawk Down, The Outpost.
Yeah.
And if we're watching a series, sometimes we'll try to pair the movies to the series. If not, it's odd. Like we'll have Fallout with something that's not apocalyptic. And we made a list of movies that we couldn't believe we hadn't reviewed. So we're going off that right now. Just movies
Okay.
that were our favorites and stuff. But during the holidays, we try to do holiday theme ones. Like shit, I'm trying to think. Well, like Memorial Day is war movies. We did a Kentucky Derby one where we had did horse movies. That one didn't go over very big, but had some good movies. That Seabiscuit's a good movie.
I like that movie.
Never saw
Yeah,
it.
It's
it's a
good.
good movie. And the one with the dude from Lord of the Rings where he's racing the horse across the desert.
Hidalgo.
well,
I
Vigo.
love Hidalgo.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hidalgo.
I think I've seen that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good movie. So those
Vito.
Yeah, that really is.
Vigo Mortensen.
Vigo, yeah.
Mortensen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's sometimes, excuse me, sometimes we have a purpose and sometimes we just pull it out of our ass. And like everybody
Sound
works,
familiar,
so-
Jed?
Oh yeah. Every one of our shows.
Pull this one out of our ass tonight.
Yeah.
So we used to be more purpose driven that way. But now we're kind of just pulling shit out, right now, and we're trying to see what works. Seems like 80s movies, especially
80s movies is big.
They're making a
Yeah.
comeback.
No, just like even on the YouTube algorithm, if you type in anything to do with 80s movies, horror of that, of the 80s, it gets huge hits. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm trying to push for more 80s movies because it seems like people really relate to those, nostalgia or whatever.
It's the nostalgia.
Like I'm trying to get Jim
I
Cotta,
miss it.
get us to do Jim Cotta. So I don't know if you ever saw that movie. It's a horrible martial arts movie with
Nope.
I can't remember the guy's name. He was an Olympic gymnast, Kurt something. He was an American. I forgot. Anyway, I'm dating.
He was in that other movie, American.
Yeah, American. But it's a really bad movie. So I'm trying to get more bad movies like that. That people loved in the 80s.
Like Chud.
Chud, yeah.
Chud has its charm.
I could not get past when the detective went down into the sewer and met with one of the wet bandits.
Nice.
I don't remember his name. I just remember him as, we should call ourselves the Wet Bandits.
It's got the guy from Home Alone in it.
That's the Wet Bandit.
Yeah.
He was saying that they should be the Wet
his
Bandits.
name.
Yeah, me neither. That's why he's called the Wet Bandit.
But that's classic.
If you guys ever need suggestions on movies, I will give you a list.
Yeah.
Don't ask me.
Throw some up there.
Because I have no idea.
So you got to watch Scott because his movies he likes like nude Nazi chicks on sharks. That's his kind of movie. So you got to watch Scott.
He's such a weirdo. He was dressed like Jesus the other day at school.
That's right. That's right. And then he was dressed like a teenager today or something.
Yes. Yeah. He looked like Hip Hop Henry.
Yeah.
Apparently he teaches at the dress up school.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he does. He teaches at the Glee. He teaches over at Glee.
Glee store.
No, he picks a lot of different movies. He keeps us kind of fresh on weird movies. Rich is more, Jaws and stuff, more, solid movies. Hadley picks out of left field. She's the one, she likes musicals. Those are hard to do. Those aren't big shows for us, musicals, even though everybody likes a musical once or twice in their life,
Oh, I've seen tons of older musicals like Oklahoma. I've seen a ton of Danny Kaye movies, Court Jester, Kiss Me Kate, all those musicals.
Inspector General.
Yeah, those and the Bing Crosby and Frank Sinatra movies and stuff like that, Singing in the Rain. And, my mom educated me on that stuff. And I'm glad now. I hated it at the time, but I'm glad now because I can say, oh, yeah, I loved Kiss Me Kate. Or, Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. That was like the greatest movie.
That was good.
Would not hold up well in today's era. But I love the movie. So
y'all missed the epic Paint Your Wagon.
Oh yeah, Paint Your Wagon. Clint Eastwood and
Lee Marvin.
Lee Marr, yeah.
Yeah, his character was the best.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
Yeah, that they used to show that like on holidays on the networks when it was just ABC, NBC, CBS. One of those used to show on one holiday. I forgot what holiday it was. It was like a big deal.
I don't remember. I remember Easter. We always had 10 Commandments with Charlton Heston.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
God, TV back then, if you didn't see it that night, you weren't ever going to see it. So you couldn't miss your shows.
Yeah.
Yep. We are spoiled. Spoiled generation.
Very spoiled.
Yes.
And if you're working,
it's at the palm of our fingertips.
Yeah. Yeah. Or if you were working, like in the 90s or, early 2000s, if you didn't have a DVR or anything like that, you were like shit out of luck,
Yeah. Yep. Yes. I mean, because now you have an app on your phone, you can watch whatever you want right then and there,
Oh, wow.
no matter if you're driving or if you're at work or whatever.
At
And
every inopportune time, you can watch a
in
movie.
every other inopportune
Yeah.
time, yes, while you're taking a shit, you can watch your movie. You're not going to miss anything.
Yeah.
Which, for me, that's cool because I mean, I like to go out and smoke. I don't have to miss my movie because I can take it with me. But it's just, I cannot believe just in our generation because we're not old. We're
No.
not. It's just, things moved really fast in our lifetime. What the hell
do.
happened?
Hell, I remember calling in sick to watch the Seinfeld finale. Because I couldn't record it. So I was working nights, so I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna call in sick."
I remember, being sick when I can't remember what their names were, but it was Marlena and what's his name were getting married on the soaps, on the stories during the day, Days of Our Lives or some shit. I can't remember, but yeah, I remember. I'm sick. I gotta stay home
Yeah.
for a soap opera.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Oh boy. Well, we've hit the hour mark, guys. I don't want to stop,
Dang.
but huh?
can't believe it's there already.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys having me on. It's fun talking to you two.
Oh,
We're
you're
talking
welcome
about
on
everything.
anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Oh,
You just give us either one of us a message. Say, hey, you need a guest, and we'll put you back
Or
in.
hey,
Well, we'll
I
be
have
calling
my-
you back.
I
Actually,
have my book release coming up. Can we do a TBA book release? That would be a good time to call us too.
yeah.
Sounds
I don't know
great.
if you watch
sure.
any of those
I'll
shows,
talk to
but
you guys in about a year from now.
Shame on you. Next
No,
week.
but no, that'd be cool. Yeah, I wish. Damn. I don't like Angel Ramon. I don't know how. Man,
I
he
don't know
just
how
writes
dude
and
does it
writes
either.
and writes.
Well, yeah, but he doesn't have a job.
Yeah.
He he takes care of his family. He stays at home. Writing is his job.
Right.
And he treats it like it's his job.
yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah.
dude,
Oh yeah.
that dude can knock out 2,500 words like it ain't nothing. And I'm like, where does this come from?
Yeah.
I'll go in and write 2 words and okay, I'm done for the day.
Yeah. Wow. I stretched
That
my
was a
brain
rough
for
day.
those 2 words.
Yeah. Almost died.
Mhm,
Yeah.
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I don't want to wake
I
up
need a
tomorrow. I
Dutch
got to
Bros.
finish that sentence.
Yeah. I need a Dutch Bros now. I just really exerted myself.
We just had one. They just built one about 2 miles from our house. They just
I
finished
already
it
went.
last
Really?
I already went and got mine.
They just built an on the grind right at the entrance of this my complex. So now when I go to work, it's a quick drive through, grab some coffee. And my new job is literally right up the road.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
amazing. I've had the same amount of gas in my tank for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah. I remember when I had that. Now I'm filling up every week, but I don't get coffee. I'm a tea drinker.
Yeah.
This is
Oh.
vanilla chai tea with almond milk, caramel drizzle, and cinnamon sprinkles. And
Sounds
it's not
terrible.
how it's amazing.
Is it?
Yeah. I like the nut juice.
I'll bet you do, Jen.
I'll have my husband message you. On that note,
I have been outdone. My
Yeah.
career is now over.
I love the
Well,
nut
you just-
juice. It's good.
You just gotta get some nut juice squeezed out there, Dan.
Yeah.
See if you like it or not.
He acts like he don't do that every night anyways.
I don't, but I can't
Get it on
control
your
my
beard.
hand.
Get some of that nut juice on your beard,
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Soften it up. Soften it up.
Speaking of nut juice, where can we find you?
Well, I don't have.
Because we
can,
thought,
The West Coast
scrolling-
Nut Juice Distributor Warehouse. That's where I'll be hanging out. No,
we thought
our
we
writer's
had
name
your
from-
stuff correct scrolling across the bottom, but we weren't sure.
I saw that. I saw that. I had to
You
quit
didn't
that.
say anything?
The
Shame on
mask
you.
fell off. I was
We have-
used to wear a mask and it came off, so I can't be on there anymore. Facebook, you can find me Allen Gamboa Facebook and Horror Writers Inc. I'm hanging out there. I'm on Twitter, Allen Zombie Dad 44, so it's been a while. And Instagram, Allen Gamboa. So I'm there. You know, if you want to reach out, get in touch, tell me you like my books, hate my books.
Okay.
Stupid
When's
books,
Weird
stupid
Realities
characters,
on
whatever.
again?
Weird Realities are on Thursday nights, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 Eastern, on Facebook and YouTube. Come and watch us. Maybe have a good time. Who knows? Maybe we'll get one of your movies.
Oh, he dipped on us.
He did quick.
Good
No,
timing, though.
He's been having kind of little technical issues where he'd freeze and every once in a while. But so I guess here at the TBA, I'm JL Folk.
I'm Dungeon Dan, the Nut Juice Man.
You're welcome.
You totally owned it. This is like the best episode ever. They're going to be talking about, I'm going to put the title on here, Nut Juice.
Nut juice. Oh my
Oy.
God. I can't believe he saw this and did not say anything. Find him on the gay side of Pornhub. Nothing.
Nope, he wasn't going to let us have that one.
Damn. Well, guess he's done.
He's done.
All right, man.
So are we. So thanks
Yes.
for watching, everyone. Have a good evening.
Bye.